Hey now and welcome back. It's the Bergie and Booker show. He's Bergie, I'm Booker. He's the brawn, I'm the beauty, or maybe that's flip-flopped. Who knows with what's going on these days? But we're still on cloud nine in the Corrigan family because Notre Dame found a way to get it done.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I think everybody in America, other than the people that are diehard Duke fans, was rooting for Notre Dame. It was their time. It was a great story. What was it like not only to be there and be in Philly, but also be on the inside as a Corrigan and being part of the family and knowing the struggle is not the right word, but I guess it's a word. Knowing the struggles through the year, being so close, almost getting there twice against Duke already. Last year's absolute joke that they don't make a tournament. I mean, what was it like being there and being part of it? And has anybody in the Corrigan family sobered up yet?
Yes, we're all good to go.
Okay, good.
I will tell you that Saturday, we knew that the winner of the UVA game was going to play Duke, and it just ended in controversy. And that was about the last time anybody talked about the whole in the crease thing. I know that people online were trying to get follows and all that stuff by posting about the in the crease. And yes, he was. And was it a bad call? Yes. Did bad calls happen? Yes. Did they happen in overtime? Sorry. And I love Jeff Tambroni, the head coach of Penn State, but that's how that went. So we're playing UVA. We are in a suite full of Corrigans, which is nice because it's air conditioned, very pleasant atmosphere. It was very calm at first. And then UVA goes on a little run. So we start getting our intensity up a little bit because, right or wrong, we feel like where we're sitting can affect the outcome of the game. Who we're talking with can affect the outcome of the game. I reached forward and grabbed my aunt's hand at one point, and we just held hands for a little while, and Notre Dame scored, and we're like, that's our goal. But it really wasn't. The Notre Dame kids were incredible. They're down 2 with a couple minutes to go against UVA. They score a couple sloppy goals. So we're celebrating like absolute bananas, as you can imagine, but all very appropriate, but just a lot of jubilation was the word we kept using. And we kept, jumping up and down, all that stuff. So Monday comes along, and we picked up right where we left off as far as jubilation. First goal, Grant Ledman, the same guy, the villain from Saturday, scores a goal in the first 30 seconds. And we're kind of thinking, what's going to happen? Notre Dame goes on a 6-goal run, and we celebrated every goal as if it was the overtime game winner. Duke goes back on that run. My aunt and I are holding hands again. We get a couple goals. And then you get to the point where my brother-in-law, Ed Lichty, who's a big Golden State Warriors fan, Notre Dame scores a goal, and he gives me this one. And we're all like, no, not yet. Because he's not a lacrosse guy.
Right.
He doesn't know that teams with a 3-goal lead with a minute left can still lose in regulation.
Right.
We also know it's Notre Dame, and they've done a great job defensively all year long. So, and they have Liam Entenmann in the goal. So they score, and we kind of wave them off of it's time for bed. They score again, and it gives us this one, like, we're close to that. They score another one, and the place just goes crazy. All my cousins, who are Kevin's brothers, Tim, Brian, and David, went down to the sidelines to see Kevin. My son Cole and I saw Kevin after the game, and it was so great to feel the relief out of the Corrigan family and the sense of this can never be taken away. And there was no controversy. I mean, not that the controversy meant anything, but it did. It added to the people who wanted Notre Dame to win.
Yes, for sure.
And to be honest, I think Duke probably would have won the game against Penn State anyway, but to win it that way or to lose that way. And that's the other thing why we celebrated so much. I know I'm going on for way too long.
Oh, that's go.
The other reason we celebrated so much that we won is because we didn't lose. And if we or they, I feel like I can say we, if Notre Dame had not brought home the title, it would have been another one of those empty, hollow feelings where you're almost thinking it's never going to happen. So, and even with Pat Cavanaugh, totally hamstrung, to be honest with you, totally hamstrung. They found a way to utilize him appropriately. And God bless America. We did it.
Yep. No, it was great. It was great to watch on television. Penn State, did they get hosed on the call? Yes, they got hosed on the call. I actually thought that Tambroni was great after. I thought every coach in the Final Four did a great job in their interview after they won and after they lost. It was Tambroni did a great job in his interview. The Duke coach says, do you want replay in overtime? Yeah,
not this year.
Not today. Not today, he
not
said.
Today.
I loved your cousin's answer when they asked him about revenge. And he said, it's not really revenge. It was just, but it definitely drove them. This year, they were driven because of what happened last year. And I loved his answer. I loved the Duke coach's answer saying, what do you do? And he said, yeah, I love you. I love you guys. And you got to spend 2 more days with your brothers. You got to spend 2 more days. You played in front of 60,000 people over the weekend. And it was just, there was a lot of positivity, and it happens. It absolutely sucks that it happened that way.
Right.
I think
the other thing I would add about John Danowski's comments after the game was, if this is the worst thing that happens to you in your life, you got a pretty good life.
That's what exactly
that's true. That's true. And that's especially true for Duke, because they do have 3 national championships. I honestly don't know if I can say that would be true if Notre Dame didn't win, just because of the gorilla on their back.
I know guys that have told me they would have rather have not gotten to the Super Bowl than lost the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I understand that there as a competitor and a person who works for things. And, to go 0-3, it is a monkey on your back, and he didn't do it. John Tillman's like what, 1-7 or 1-8 or 1-7. He now the B2, excuse me, yeah, 2 and before last year, that was the big thing. He's 1-7. Now he's got the 2. Excuse me, I should know that. The Boston College coach, she just had it happen. She's now 1-6 or 1-5. So it is a thing. But it's awesome to see them win. I think everybody was rooting for them. Everybody in Philly who was a Penn State fan was certainly rooting for them, because they thought Notre Dame that Penn State got screwed. But it was just a great story. The Kavanaugh brothers. Jesus, they couldn't run that story by your boy Kark enough. He had a great interview with him, and it was awesome.
I will tell you that I thought Kevin was great on the field when he was asked the question, 35 years, the same program, and you did this. And he said, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about these guys. These are the guys. No,
it was great. And, will it catapult him into 2 and 3 more? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how long he sticks around, but it was just absolutely great. It was obviously 10 days ago, so we're a little bit behind on talking about it because you've been so busy with everything else. But just exciting Monday, and with no real horse in the race here. I was really rooting for Notre Dame, and like I said, I think I'm pretty much the average fan. I think everybody was.
And like you said, we were busy with other stuff. One of the things we were busy with was the New Balance underclass All-American tryouts. And you look at that Final Four of Penn State, Duke, Virginia, and Notre Dame. 3/4 of those rosters played in the All-American underclass event in their past, many of them in the senior game, but really it's the underclass event that really puts kids on the map in the top echelon or the middle echelon. We got a ton of D2 kids who come out of there. Some kids, go through the underclass tryout, and that's how they get recruited to D3. So it is, from what I've seen in the world of lacrosse, that New Balance All-American event, formerly the Under Armour, the New Balance All-American event is the best bang for the buck, the best way to measure yourself, and the best way to find out where you're best suited to play some college lacrosse, if that's what you really want to do. I know you just had 2 kids go through it. What were their impressions?
So two different impressions. And I watched, because we had a lot of good friends doing the 24s, the 25s, and then the 26, 27. And so I watched a lot. I didn't watch our kids as much as I just kind of watched the whole process. And then I talked to them about what they thought their process was. And number one, for somebody who's never tried out for anything other than a team, like a tryout, it was a new experience for Duke. And I told him before he even went to it, whether you make the team or don't make the team, I want to hear, did you make the team and you think you deserve to make the team? Did you not make the team and who was better than you? And what can you do to improve? Because you're in the 26, 27. So really next year and the following year are the big years for you to try out for things. And if you didn't make the team, but you thought you should have, what could you have done different? What do you think was a situation that maybe you'll know for the future? You and I had a nice conversation about something that I didn't even think about saying until after the fact. I said, you should look at this a little bit like a job interview, and not so much, he's a great kid. I'm not worried about him acting like a jackass or anything like that. But I mean, be a little bit more outgoing or that type of thing. And I think you're nervous the first time you go through something like that. He's a freshman in high school or just finished his freshman year, and he had some nerves. The 26, 27 was a large group. I said, I don't know how this works for you. There's people from all over. They're going to take guys from all over. They're going to take some 26s. They're going to take some 27s. So for that, I thought it was a great experience for him to match himself up and to evaluate himself personally. And, you can't control the weather. That group got lucked out with some bad rain for the callback game, which I think would have helped a lot of kids in every age group. But I watched the 25 boys. I thought they were very competitive. I thought a lot of those kids looked really, really, really good. I talked to some of the parents who just love the experience and watching the kids. The 24 experience on the boys and the girls. So our daughter was on the 24 experience. She had a great time. She's undecided and she is still plugging away, and she has her schools that she's interested in, and God bless her. She knows she's not going pro in lacrosse. So she has a lot of different pathways ahead of her. So she went out there and played, and she played well, and she played with a bunch of girls that were committed. And the worst thing when she came off was like, well, I know what I did with this girl, and she's going to Clemson. I know I did what against this girl, and she's going here. I thought it was an awesome experience for the girls because the rain didn't affect them as much as the boys. Right. I thought the boys had a great day. It's Tampa, Florida in June. The skies are gonna open up, or the lightning's gonna come out at 3:00 in the afternoon. So now I've talked to some friends who were at the Baltimore one. I've got friends who the girls are in the made the Philly team. And everybody's raving about it, via text or Instagram, or I've got a sister who's got girls that she coaches in Philadelphia that are making those Philadelphia teams. I've got high school friends whose daughters are making the team, and they're all, whether they're committed to JMU or committed to Maryland or committed to wherever, they're either committed or they're trying to get committed. And it doesn't always have to be, like you said, Division I. They're looking at Division II. They're looking at Division III. And that's a great barometer to get there. I had two very good friends whose daughters were in the Final Four. High school friends of mine, husband and wife, who both went to high school with me. Their daughter played for Northwestern. I have a great college friend whose daughter is the starting defender at Denver, and they've all gone through this process. I mean, there's definitely a lineage there of college, the tryouts to the college, 1, 2, Division III, and it's a great experience. At least I thought it was, and it wasn't an arm and a leg. We have said no to so many things because what am I getting for $700? What am I getting for $560? What am I getting for this and for that? But when you're talking around the $200 range to $300, depending on boys and girls, it was a great experience. Again, we didn't have to travel, which makes it better. I understand when you're talking about coming, but you guys have done a great job in my book of really spreading out the areas. Yeah, the Midwest is the Midwest. The South is the South. It's not as strong as Baltimore, Philadelphia, Connecticut, Long Island, that type of thing. But you're giving people an opportunity to get seen and to self-evaluate and have parents actually, I hope parents sat back and took a breath and said, it wasn't like, oh, my kid got screwed, or oh my God, my kids deserved it. I saw so many kids on all levels. I'm not talking about any level in particular. Mm-hmm. So many kids that were really good, and so many kids that really, it was like, good for you. I hope you now realize you've got a lot of work to do, especially in the 26, 27s.
The other thing that I always tell the kids before they try out is congratulations for having the courage to be out here, because you might get told no, and show us the best version of you. And when it's over, I'm usually the one who announces the numbers to make the callback game. And obviously there's 35 to 40 kids that we want in that callback game. Usually 35 is a good number. So that means that 30, 40, 50 kids are not making the callback game. And countless kids come up to me afterwards and say, thank you. I didn't make it, but now I know what I need to work on. Now I know where I am right now. And can I springboard to being a better lacrosse player if that's my goal? I got a kid in my house who got cut after his junior year, and he decided one of my goals is to make the All-American underclass team as a rising senior. And it happened to pan out for him, and he made the team.
Yep. And I was a little disappointed to personally know a handful of kids who didn't show up. I didn't feel it was my responsibility. I'm not associated with it at all, so it's not.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed at some of the kids on that play high school lacrosse with Duke, or at least are playing on his club team, that they didn't show up. And why I was disappointed is because I think a couple of them think a lot about themselves, and I think a couple of the parents think a lot about their kid. And I would have loved to have seen a couple of them get knocked down a peg or two, but that's just me being the asshole that I am. But they ran scared. Some kids ran scared, and some parents ran scared. They're afraid of failure. Yeah, I'm sure somebody had something to do here or there, but and there's always for the southern states, the weekend is a tough weekend where they actually play the game, for the sheer fact of school starts a week later. And if you're playing, or 2 weeks later, or 10 days, and if you're playing a fall sport, maybe you're involved in it. So there are some, not every Baltimore and Philadelphia, they're fine. They don't go back till right around Labor Day and all that. But overall, I thought it was a great experience. But for us personally, it was the first day of then an incredible national cup for the girls.
Oh, yeah.
So we were 3 days in Tampa Sportsplex, watching you do your thing, selling your swag. And, we came home with a championship, and that was awesome for Darlene's group and for her team. And like usual, they played awful the first game, and then they went undefeated the rest of the time, and they beat the team that beat them. And they played great. It was hot. It was a little bit of a test of attrition, and they beat a really good team out of they're out of Nashville, but they're basically all over Tennessee, and a couple of girls from Kentucky as well, I was told. It was a great day. I thought Corrigan, and I'm not just saying it because you're on the other side of the screen here, we've been to the National Cup 3 times. You and I have only been talking for less than one of those times. I mean, it's a great event. The National Cup is a great event. It was the first time experience in the All-American as a family, and we took a lot out of it. Make it or don't make it. We took a lot out of it.
Yeah, and the underclass is the first step. Like, kids who want to make that senior game, getting involved in the underclass event is paramount importance as far as getting seen by the evaluators, seen by the people who do the watch list for us. And the other thing is, there's some clubs out there, and we've had a little bit of this conversation in different regions. Like in Jersey, there's a club team that says you're forbidden from trying out for the All-American underclass, which for me is not doing what's best for kids. And as someone who is in a leadership position, whether you're a club director or a high school, I don't know any high school coach that would ever say that, but there are club directors who run their own little thing, and they try to insist that their players absolutely are forbidden from trying out. They'll schedule a practice during the tryout because they want to make sure their kids are. My question is this: if you're a top player on that team and you come try out for the All-American, what is your club director going to do? Is he going to really throw you off the club because you're trying to do something that's been proven to be valuable over the last 17 years? It's a great event. It helps a lot of kids, and your club director is telling you you can't do that.
I have a theory. Okay. The people that are putting on events on the same weekend or are trying to be competitive, I have a theory, and it's only going to play out over time.
Sure.
because I saw one or two kids. I won't tell you if they were boys or girls, but a couple of kids from some programs. And I talked to some people, and the overwhelming theme was those kids are really good at drills. And when the games happened, I was a little surprised at where they said they were committed to. And I'm going to tell you, there are clubs and there are teams and there are programs, as both former educators, there's teams and there's programs out there teaching to the test. And guess what? That's all they're doing. They're showing you, they're showing you what you have to do. And they don't have enough confidence in their boys or their girls that they can go to an open tryout and make the team. And then if they go to an open tryout and don't make the team, the parents are going to realize that a lot of BS has been going on the last 3 to 5 years, and how great Jimmy and Jane are and everything else. And we've been taking $3 to $5 grand, and we've been telling you can't go here and you can't go there. And I'm telling you, all these kids from these programs that are telling you what you can do and what you can't do with your kid, they are getting to colleges, because they're making the phone calls, and the college coaches are taking those phone calls. And it's a really, really weird cycle right now. Coaches are saying, I know this program, I'm going to take this kid. The programs are holding them hostage, saying, well, I've got another one down the line you're going to want, or I've got this, or I've got that. And I'm not in the next 5 years, because I know the programs that are doing it now that we're involved in it. I want to see how successful those boys and girls are when they get to college, when they've never been allowed to be exposed to other players and other programs and other things. And, it's not the end of the world, but one of the reasons I think that somebody like myself and you and all the guys I know from college football, basketball, lacrosse, everything. One of the things we're all great about talking to people and hanging out with everybody is because we've been on a number of teams through basketball and through football, and we've tried out for different things, and you can talk to anybody. These teams where these kids we're on this program and we're not allowed to do anything else. I want to see how successful they are at the next level, 2 or 3 years in.
And are they helping a kid become the best version of themselves? And if they're forbidden certain things, they're definitely stealing a kid's opportunity. And that's probably not what they're really supposed to be doing.
There's one thing, if you're a director or you're a coach of a program, and a parent comes to you and says, should I take he or her to these tryouts? And you say, well, here are the 4 tryouts that I like, and here's where I would suggest you go. It's another thing if you say, you can do whatever you want. I'm telling you, I know the evaluators. I've been one, or this guy's been one, and your kid's not ready for that yet. Okay, that's an honest statement. If you say you can, but if you want to waste $300, there's no chance they're making the cut. Okay, those are 2 great things. I don't like, no, don't take them. We do our own thing over here. We don't go to that. We don't support that. And that's the difference. And that's what's happening on a lot of things. There's an all-star team that I know about where they're supposed to be for everybody in every state, and they don't even tell people when the tryouts were.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about too. But I hope you're talking about the one on the boys' side where it's like invitation only, but you're being invited to pay $600 is what you're really being invited to do.
And there's one on the girls' side that says that they're the best of this and everything else, and they didn't have an open tryout.
That's too bad.
And I'm okay with saying it's an invitation only team. Then say it's an invitation only team, but don't say we're this and we're that and not have an open tryout. And you can't tryouts aren't perfect either. Like we just talked about, we had some bad weather. Some kids probably didn't get the look they deserve, and some kids probably got more than they deserve because of some things. And at the younger age, it doesn't matter. At the older age, you hope the cream rises to the top, and you hope that's all who's picked. And until proven otherwise, I think you got to just trust the process. Unless you're a 76er fan, then it's time to dump that shit.
That's probably a good place to end it. He's Bergie, I'm Booker. We do what we do. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, brother.
Go Irish.
Yeah.
Can I say go Irish, or do I have to say went Irish since it's past tense?
They got it done.